Sustainable housing, not just for hippies. We're going to talk about how you can apply it to your life now as well. Hello.
Morning.
How are you?
Doing very well, thanks. We got SIENNA today.
We got rookie SIENNA.
Hello. Thank you for having me this morning, Mark and Jessica. I'm super keen to be here.
How are you this morning? This is the first live that you've done with us on Morning Minutes.
Yes, it
of
is.
Many.
First of many.
And Jess, how are you?
I'm good.
You good?
No, yeah. It's warm today.
What is that? Is it really the sign, or is it fake? Is summer really coming?
No, they're baiting us, but still, we can enjoy it.
Oh yeah, it's unbelievable. So Jess, sustainable. I don't like this topic.
I know. I could tell when we were just talking about it before. But it's a good topic because I think it's the way of the future. More focus on sustainable housing, sustainable living, things you can do in your house to make it better for the environment, better for you, better for the world.
It's not going away.
No.
It's here forever.
Yeah, for sure. And I think we were talking about a bit off air about how sustainable you sometimes think more expensive. Like you think of going down the organic aisle in the shops and it's more expensive than the rest of the supermarket. But in terms of housing, sometimes there's more affordable options that are still sustainable.
Yeah, it's like gluten-free bread.
Yeah.
It's not going away. It's not going away. So tell us, what would you recommend to the people watching today of what they could do to be more sustainable with real estate in their homes?
You know, this is a really, really, really simple one, but
yeah,
people living in units over houses. It's much better, more better for the planet, more sustainable. You're taking off less land, and it's an easy one.
And I guess you're sharing services.
And if the population, Australians love a big yard. So in Australia, we're notoriously bad for it in comparison to the rest of the planet, for our footprint of how big the space we live on. But if you look at somewhere like Japan, people live in smaller areas, in high density living, better for the planet in doing so.
So that's lesson one for sustainable living. And I guess also if you look at a pool as an example, if you have 12 houses, you have 12 pools. If you have 12 units, you can share one pool.
Yeah.
Gym, all that stuff.
For sure.
So that's sustainable.
Definitely. SIENNA, did you have...
Well, you know, sustainable home livings and living can be as simple as growing a veggie patch in your own backyard or installing solar panels on your roof. But as we all know, it can be much more than that, which we can jump right into if we like. Mark?
Yeah. So you got solar panels. What did you say about there's still grants around there? So people who are out there at the moment who are thinking they're going to put solar panels on and thinking maybe the grant's gone, the grant's still around, yeah? How much is that? That's $4 grand you're getting?
3,700 you can get for solar panel grant. I think the cost of one solar panel can go up to 8,000, I'm pretty sure. But that cost is offset by your electricity bill.
Yeah, so if I put solar on the house for 20 grand, I got an instant rebate of 10 grand.
Yeah.
And it killed my power bill by about $700 to $800 a quarter. So I guess the payback from memory, I think the payback was 4 years. So after 4 years, I was neutral and going into positive. So then basically that's just like money in your back pocket after a 4 year period. So it's That's sustainable.
The other thing too is the resale potential, because a lot of people, the new buyers, because there's more focus on sustainability, often if a house has, I get asked all the time if a house has solar panels, or if there's a lot more people that are focused on it, so that could be a selling point for your property and add value later on.
As well. And even unit blocks, I've noticed unit blocks have common properties. So house lights, for example, when you walk inside a foyer during the day, you turn the lights on, lift, and that sort of stuff. That can be run off solar panels. All unit blocks that generally have massive roofs, and it's a good idea as a body corporate to get together and say, guys, let's invest a little bit up front, and then on the back end, we're going to get payback. But that seems to be the common theme with sustainable, that it's known as expensive, not because it's expensive, but the costs are borne up front and then cheaper on the back end. But people really have a difficulty with upfronting that money.
It's even something as small as the reusable straws.
Yep.
Like on a smaller scale, one of those packs is like $15. A plastic straw is a cent, not even. You get it for free. The upfront cost of that $15, people will say, no, I don't want to do that. But long run, you're actually, it's better off. You're going to not spend as much money continuously buying the packets of plastic straws.
So say it again, the straws, as in the steel ones or the permanent ones.
Yeah. So it's the same principle with like buying furniture. When we were talking about buying a chair, if you buy the expensive chair, it'll last you a really long time. If you buy the cheap chair, it will last you 2 years. And then you buy another cheap chair, then you buy another cheap chair, buy another cheap chair. The cost at the end.
And that's the cost to you personally, dollars, but there's also the cost to the environment, because you're actually producing a lot more chairs, because you're damaging a lot more chairs and buying and throwing out, buying and throwing out, buying and throwing out. So sometimes not only is it less for your back pocket, but it's also less for the environment, because you haven't got as much landfill going in from old chairs.
And you have to pay to dispose of them as well.
And go and buy them as well. Rock up to the shop, I want that one, or I want that one, or I want that one. It all takes time. So I think that, but how do you shift people's mindset to that, where they appreciate that, they value that, and then they start, making those personal decisions when buying? Where are we seeing it in property? Where are we seeing sustainability in property? Because we've spoken about it now in different parts of our lives, with solar, for example. I guess that's property. How else are you seeing it?
We've seen some really cool new house designs. Sienna's looked at some with shipping containers.
Yeah, so essentially shipping containers are shipping containers that are essentially formed into houses. It's been around for maybe 10 years or something, or 20 years maybe. And, it reuses shipping containers that are basically a pile of steel disregarded in ports all around, all wide world. So it is a great way to, build houses and also, help the environmental impact. And as a young adult, I think it's really important to get that exposure in our generation, because it will continue over generations.
And I think as well with like the materials that are being used in construction, there's a lot, although there's heaps of work to do, there is more of a focus on what's being used. Like we've seen in Melbourne, there's a company that's using hemp to build houses, and the actual benefit is that it has natural pesticides. You never have to do pest treatment, natural insulation, so you save less with your electricity bill. So there's a lot more focus in the construction element of what materials can we use to build houses that are better for the environment.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
My house is hemp.
Well, Natalie and we did a Morning Minutes a little while ago talking about the 3D printed houses. Even that, sustainable, because there's no, when they're building it, they don't have any wasted materials that they have to dispose of. It's just the house is built with everything they need.
Packaging. When I think of houses, I think of packaging because they have an enormous amount of waste that leaves the site because everything comes wrapped, or everything comes, boxed, everything comes palleted and all that sort of stuff. And I think when you're 3D printing a house, which is a really extraordinary concept, but when you're 3D, actually, just to explain quickly what 3D printing is for people that don't know, it's basically, I guess you're pouring the walls in concrete. You're pouring all of the walls and the foundation all from the one concrete pump. So basically, this thing just goes around and does every single part of the building. But I think, a lot less waste as well when you're doing something like that.
Yeah, 100%, because instead of the architect, the computer designer that's done it all on their computer, they know exactly what they're building and they just pour it straight into that mold. So there's no waste.
Nuts. Yeah. Sustainable, my favourite topic. Anything else we want to cover on sustainable homes and ideas and concepts for people watching?
I think it's just the little things in your house that you should be doing. Like, there's so much, all of us are guilty of going and buying so much crap for our houses, for furniture that we don't need, that we get rid of after a year. I think having a bit of a more long-term mindset, saving for a good lounge or saving for a good chair or whatever it is, rather than just buying stuff to fill up the space.
It's definitely, when you look at IKEA furniture and the way that we rock in there, rock out of there, and you think that's a great idea, you buy it and chuck it. It's really, even my little toothpaste thing I bought the other day is sustainable. It's getting more out of what you normally get. Bit embarrassing.
For anyone watching, what it is, it's like a metal clip you put on the top of your toothpaste and you wind it so that you don't waste any toothpaste in the tube.
Yeah, it's had a lot of fans. It's had a lot of fans. I bought some. My mum saw it come in, and when I got it delivered and wanted one, and then I ended up getting 12, and then it ended up getting distributed for the office. But in all seriousness, I guess that any if you can get an extra drop out of toothpaste, if you can get more out of your environment, if you can get more out of your containers by reusing them, if you can get more out of your solar, if you can get more out of your water, like I know even just habits with water, with running of a tap, it doesn't sound like much, but when you compound it over 365 days of a year and over 10 years, it's an enormous amount of water you can save simply by, I think I had a habit of having, I don't know if it's a good habit or a bad habit, washing your teeth when you're in the shower.
Oh, I do that.
I think that's a bad habit because you're actually using more water because you're another 15, 30 seconds washing your teeth and you're running a shower. My old man, on the tight ass style, used to turn the shower on, turn the shower for 15 seconds, turn it off. Lather, right, soap, and then turn the shower on, and then rinse, turn the shower off. So it was literally the amount of time the water was on for was probably 30 seconds. You do that compared to a 5-minute shower that we're used to. Sustainable.
Over time.
Better for the environment.
They released, I don't know where it was, but they released, this is not related to property, but related to sustainability. They released the top 10 people, the worst people in the world for private jet usage, like who's used the most fuel since the start of the year. Taylor Swift, in the last 8 months, so since January 1st, has, in her private jet alone, had enough emissions that the average person would have in 517 years. So we're all doing okay by not getting on a private jet. It was like 100 and something times already from the start of the year.
Yeah, it's all. And you know what? I think it's sustainability has an element of sharing, doesn't it? Like a private jet, you're not sharing shit, but you know, with when you're going in a mainstream airline, you're sort of sharing the fuel, sharing the cost. But I think a lot of sustainability can be simply by just grouping what you're doing. Even like, you know, getting a bus instead of driving to work. You know, it all comes under that sort of banner, doesn't it?
For sure.
And
Alrighty.
that's a sustainable show.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we promoted a bit of awareness out there for things we can all do. But it's pretty I don't know. It's still an ugly word.
I know. It's overused.
But it's cool. But it seems like the young generations bloody love it.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a new word.
A new word.
Well, it is like, you know what I mean? Like, a new use of the word if you look at it.
100%. Yeah.
Because growing up, like I was, like there was none. Like going through high school and stuff, sustainable wasn't really a thing at all.
And now it's at the forefront of everyone's mind. Like I said, the resale. If your house has sustainable elements, someone that's my age, when they're ready to buy, they'll ask the question.
They'll be attracted to it. And before we go on the show, Sienna.
Yes.
What do you do at Novak?
So I'm in property management at the moment. I've only been here for 6 weeks, so it's a bit of a learning curve trying to get my head around and learning everything. I just do the leases, I process applications, and it's mostly just on the computer, answering emails, picking up phone calls, etc., etc.
And for people that are out there that are considering getting into real estate, any tips or things you didn't know that you want to tell people? You want to tell everyone?
Don't be afraid to get something wrong. You know, real estate, it is a hard job, but if you just put your head down and you really listen and active listen, then you're going to love it. You know, you meet so many great people, and being here in Novak, I met so many people. I've made so many friends. You know, it's great.
There you go. Jess, what do you reckon?
I like what Sienna said. You learn most when you're uncomfortable, so you got to jump in.
Yeah.
Got to get it.
Yeah.
Ladies, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
For the sustainable show.
Yeah.
Stylish, but make it sustainable, guys.
That's it. Take care. See you around. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.